The room became suffocatingly silent. Rain battered the windows violently while the damaged television screen reflected shadows across everyone's faces. Emeka stood at the doorway breathing heavily. Amara barely recognized the man before her. This was not the calm husband she had known for 20 years. This was someone else. Someone carrying ghosts. Sandra crossed her arms slowly. Then tell them, she said coldly. Tell your wife who you really are. Emeka stepped inside the room carefully. You think exposing me will heal your pain? Sandra laughed bitterly. He died because of you. No, Emeka snapped sharply. David died because of greed. The statement shook the room. Ella looked between them anxiously. What is going on? She whispered. Nobody answered immediately. Because some truths take years before they find the courage to come out. 15 years earlier. David Lawson was not the innocent man everyone believed. Publicly, he was respected. Privately, he was dangerous. Corrupt bank deals. Money laundering. Illegal foreign accounts. Emeka discovered everything accidentally after helping David process confidential transactions at the bank in Port Harcourt. At first, Emeka stayed quiet. David was rich. Powerful. Connected. But then Emeka learned something worse. David planned to use Sandra as part of a financial cover-up through fake business accounts opened in her name. Sandra had no idea. She was just a tool to him, Emeka said quietly. Sandra looked away painfully. Because deep down, she knew it was true. But you still slept with his fiancée, Amara said sharply. Emeka closed his eyes briefly. Yes. No excuses this time. No lies. Just truth. And that was the beginning of everything. Back then, Emeka genuinely fell in love with Sandra. What started as attraction became emotional attachment. Sandra found safety in him. Emeka found purpose in protecting her. But David eventually discovered the affair. And the night he died, everything exploded. Inside the old hotel room years ago, David attacked Emeka violently after discovering both the betrayal and missing financial documents. He was drunk, Emeka said quietly. And furious. Sandra's hands trembled. Because memories she buried long ago were resurfacing. He threatened to kill both of us, Emeka continued. Amara stared at him carefully. And then? Emeka swallowed hard. We fought. Sandra suddenly interrupted. You left out the most important part. Emeka looked at her sharply. Stop. But Sandra continued anyway. David had a gun. The room froze instantly. Ella covered her mouth. Amara stepped backward slowly. What? Sandra nodded weakly. He brought it to the hotel. Flashbacks flooded Sandra's mind. David screaming. Glass breaking. Emeka bleeding from the mouth. A gun appearing suddenly. Fear everywhere. Then. A gunshot. Amara's voice shook. Did you kill him? Emeka's eyes filled with torment. No. Sandra looked at him strangely. Because after 15 years. She still did not know if she fully believed him. The gun went off during the struggle, Emeka whispered. David fell. Silence swallowed the room. I panicked. And instead of calling the police, Sandra said coldly, you ran. Emeka's face darkened with shame. Yes. Leaving me there alone. Amara felt physically sick. So all these years. I was afraid, Emeka admitted. David's family had connections everywhere. I knew nobody would believe me. So you buried the truth? Yes. Sandra laughed painfully. And I carried the trauma alone. For years, Sandra lived with nightmares. Not because she knew whether Emeka intentionally killed David. But because she was never certain. And uncertainty can destroy a person slowly. Especially when love and fear become mixed together. Amara suddenly realized something terrifying. This anonymous messaging, she said slowly. It was you? Sandra nodded. Yes. Why now? Sandra's eyes became emotional for the first time. Because I'm dying. The room froze again. Ella blinked repeatedly. What? Sandra sat down weakly. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Even Emeka looked shocked. I found out 6 months ago. For the first time all night, Sandra no longer looked dangerous. She looked tired. Human. Broken. I didn't come back for revenge alone, Sandra whispered softly. I came back because I'm tired of carrying ghosts. Tears rolled down her face quietly. I needed the truth to breathe before I die. Amara's anger began colliding with pity. Ella felt trapped inside a story far deeper than an affair. And Emeka. Emeka looked like a man collapsing under years of buried guilt. Then Sandra opened another envelope from the black box. There's something else, she said. Emeka's expression changed immediately. No. Sandra ignored him. She handed the document to Amara. Amara's eyes moved across the paper slowly. Then her face lost color completely. Ella grabbed the document next. Her hands started trembling. It was a birth certificate. Father's name, Emeka Okafor. Mother's name, Sandra Williams. Date of birth, 14 years ago. Ella looked up in disbelief. Amara's lips parted slowly. Then Sandra whispered the final bombshell. David Lawson was never the father of my son. The entire room fell silent. Because somewhere in Abuja, a 14-year-old boy existed who had no idea the man he hated for abandoning him was standing alive inside that